Now at 5 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, federal investigators responding to a deadly shooting at a Minneapolis school. Plus, ever wonder how your city keeps your drinking water clean? We go behind the scenes in Cuero. And a look back at the storm that devastated southwest Louisiana 5 years ago today.
We will be looking at fewer thunder showers over the next couple of days. That means it's going to be getting warmer. And then we'll talk about that cool front that's coming in. All that coming up in just a moment.
Plus, hundreds of thousands of hunters head to Texas fields this week. We'll tell you what to expect. You're watching 25 News Now at 5. Good afternoon, and thanks for being with us. I'm Shawna Currie. The city of Cuero is vigilant about maintaining their water supply. 25 News Now reporter Ray Mosley spoke with the city manager in Cuero, and he joins us now. And Ray, what did you learn?
Yes, Shawna, the city of Currie has a groundwater well system that's drilled into the ground. City manager Wayne Berger says there's 4 wells, 3 treatment plants, and 10 sample sites that are checked daily for desired levels of 1.5 to 3 milliliters of chlorine. Berger says if the levels are lower than usual.
Every day it starts as a team. It's a team effort. We have great employees that monitor the water, treat the water. We all live in the city. I live in the city. I want to make sure that everybody has good quality drinking water.
Berger says chlorine levels can drop depending on its temperature. Should Cuero ever have a boil water notice, he would keep in touch with TCEQ and advise people to watch for their Facebook page. Berger says anyone within Cuero is having issues with their water to contact their city hall. Shawna?
Citizens Medical Center is moving forward with a $10 million funding request to keep expansion projects on track. The board approved a plan with Victoria County that gives them access to low-interest, long-term financing without needing voter approval. CEO Michael Olson says construction has faced a few surprises, like relocating a hidden sewer line, but the project should still wrap up by late January. Upgrades include a new ICU with hurricane-proof glass and a chemotherapy infusion center with scenic views. Starting in September, ICU access will shift to make way for construction. And here's our viewer poll this afternoon. What is more important to you? Is it faster hospital upgrades or more public oversight on spending? Or are both equally important to you? Right now, 86% of voters feel that they are both equally important to get those upgrades done in a timely manner and make sure that there is public oversight. We want to know your thoughts. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to let us know. And we'll have another look at these numbers on 25 News Now at 6. In Hallettsville, a former school principal is facing a theft charge. Lavaca County deputies arrested Jody Mildred Thompson. Investigators say she stole between $2,500 and $30,000. Thompson's principal contract was renewed by the Ezell ISD board in February. By May, the school board moved to cancel her contracts for not having the needed certifications to continue in the position. At this time, there is no investigation by the Texas Education Agency into Thompson and no flag on her teaching certificate. Police say 2 young children are dead and 17 others, mostly children, also hurt after a gunman opened fire at a Catholic school in Minneapolis this morning. The gunman taking his own life, and now investigators are working to determine a motive. As ABC's Rena Roy reports, one little girl says at first she thought the gunfire was fireworks.
A horrific first week of school in South Minneapolis. A gunman shooting through the stained glass windows of this Catholic church as dozens of children attended morning mass before classes at Annunciation Catholic School.
A possible active shooter, 509 West 54th Street, Minneapolis.
Police say the gunman was armed with a shotgun, rifle, and pistol and fired from all 3 weapons just before 8:30 a.m. Police say the shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
That coward has been identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman. No prior criminal history.
At least 2 young children killed, just 8 and 10 years old.
It was like right beside me. I was like 2 seats away from the stained glass windows. So they were like, the shots were like right next to me. My friend got hit in the back.
Did he go to the hospital?
Yeah, he went to the hospital.
17 others, mostly children, were hurt, 2 of them in critical condition.
These kids were literally praying They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence.
Parents rushing to the school.
I just saw the kids exiting, so it's almost like a little parade of kids. I'm like just yelling out my daughter's name.
And I heard something like really loud, like I thought it was fireworks in the church. And then I saw the shooting. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared.
Emily Feste's niece and nephew go to the school, and her husband is a firefighter who jumped into action when the calls came in.
He just took off on foot. It's so awful and it's so scary. And I just am really proud of my husband and my brother-in-law for just running into the danger.
Sources familiar with the matter tell ABC News investigators are looking at social media accounts believed to be associated with the shooter. Now, the FBI, DHS, and ATF are all responding as they work to figure out a possible motive behind this devastating attack. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
The FBI raided the Joshua Media Ministries campus in Houston, arresting leaders David Taylor and Michelle Brannon. Federal prosecutors say it's part of a national forced labor and money laundering case tied to the Kingdom of God Global Church. Investigators claim the pair recruited people to raise money, bringing in nearly $50 million a year, then spent it on homes, cars, and other luxuries. Taylor is set to appear in court in North Carolina, Brannon in Florida. If convicted, both could face up to 20 years in prison. Let's go now to Chief Meteorologist Mac Perez for a first look at our forecast. And Mac, I know we're giving you a hard time about this cool front that's coming, but at least it will feel a difference, right?
I think you will, but it'll be slight. We're talking about a frontal system coming in on Sunday. It'll give us a good chance of rain, and it will knock the temperature down. But I don't want you to get your sweaters just yet, okay? Today we have a front, a stalled front over the Houston area, and you can see how it is triggering all these thunder showers ahead of it. That's the stuff that sort of rolled down into our area today. There we are. This activity will actually decrease as the front goes north and high pressure builds in. So a couple of hot days coming up before the cool front on Sunday. We'll be taking a look at that and talking about the tropics coming up in a moment. Back to you, Shawna.
Well, 5 years ago today, Hurricane Laura tore through southwest Louisiana. The Category 4 storm hit Cameron just after 1 a.m. August 27th, 2020, packing 150-mile-per-hour winds. Laura was the strongest hurricane to hit Louisiana in more than a century, killing 41 people and causing an estimated $23 billion in damage across Louisiana and East Texas. Among the hardest hit landmarks, the Capital One Tower in Lake Charles, which was later demolished. Local law enforcement departments joined to honor a fallen canine officer at Memory Meadows Pet Memorial Park. To read this full article, come to crossroadstoday.com. Dove season is only a few days away, opening on September 1st, and it's a pretty big deal for hunters in Texas. Tori Garcia spoke with a Texas game warden about what they'll be watching out for to keep everybody legal and safe during this dove hunting season.
Texas is one of the busiest states for dove hunting, and game wardens say opening week will bring plenty of traffic to the fields.
Texas usually has around 400,000 dove hunters, and we harvest, I think, 30% of the nationwide dove harvest, so it's a big deal in Texas.
Before heading out, hunters need the right paperwork.
In Texas, you're supposed to have your Texas hunting license and your migratory game bird stamp. Of course, if you're born on or after September 2nd of 1971, you're required to have hunter ed. And you can pay and defer that 1 year.
And to follow bag limits.
The daily bag and possession limit is like, the daily bag is how many birds you can take in a day. And some people say, oh, I can have 15 morning or 15 evening. No, it's daily, it's per day.
Cummings says wardens will be out making sure everyone follows the rules and stays safe.
Mostly what we do is compliance checks. We make sure you're hunting legally, like you have your license, your hunter ed, you're not overbagged, your guns is plugged, and that everything else is legal.
Because if not, fines can be costly.
Most of the things we file are going to be Class C's. Of course, the trespass by projectile, you could file that as a deadly conduct too if it's hitting structures or people or things like that. It could be $25 to $500 plus court cost.
Here are some of the top headlines in the Cuero Record. DeWitt County Sheriff's Department Captain Santos Calderon Jr. is in his 46th year of law enforcement. And a Cuero High School honor graduate is awarded a $20,000 scholarship. To read these stories and more, visit DeWittCountyToday.com. Today, we are celebrating Don Brubaker. From his decades on the sidelines to his tenure on the news desk, Don is celebrating 41 years at KAVU. Thank you to Don and all that he has done, not only for us here at the Victoria Television Group, but for his coverage of our community throughout the years. Don, thank you for all that you do, and we enjoyed celebrating with you today. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. Stay with us straight ahead on 25 News Now at 5. Something happening right now has not been this bad in more than 70 years. We'll explain. Plus, a dangerous glitch forces Ford to recall hundreds of thousands of trucks. A U.S. district judge rules Camara Abrego Garcia cannot be removed from the U.S. for at least several more weeks. The Trump administration will have to testify in early October about its efforts to remove him, with a hearing set for October 6th. Abrego Garcia was wrongly sent to prison in El Salvador earlier this year before the Supreme Court ordered his return. Since then, his lawyers have renewed his asylum request. Meanwhile, he's also facing human smuggling charges, which he denies. The price of beef has now reached record levels, with ground beef and steaks 12% more expensive compared to 2024. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Cattle inventory has dropped to the lowest levels since 1950, creating a supply shortage that drives up costs for consumers. Farmers say the high prices provide relief after years of struggling with operating costs. Cattle that sold for $230 per pound last year now bring $330 to $400. Industry experts warn the current price surge will not last forever, but for now, American farmers can finally pay down equipment and land costs. Some Ford owners will need to make a trip to the dealership. The automaker is recalling more than 355,000 of its pickup trucks due to a technical glitch. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the instrument panel display could go blank, which would prevent the driver from seeing information including speed and warning lights. Ford says no injuries or accidents related to the issue have been reported. 9 different Ford models and model years are included in this recall. Those include the 2025 Ford F-150 and Ford F-250 SDs from model years 2025 and 2026. A fix for that issue is available at a Ford dealership or with an over-the-air software update. The FDA has signed off on updated COVID-19 vaccines, but only for a narrower group. Adults 65 and older, plus younger people at higher risk. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced the move, adding that emergency use authorizations are now revoked. That could make it harder for children and others to get vaccinated. Next, a CDC advisory panel will decide who they recommend the shots for, and insurers may follow their lead. All of this comes as COVID cases are climbing again in most states. Cases of flesh-eating bacteria are on the rise. The CDC says the dangerous Vibrio infection thrives in warm coastal waters, especially in areas where the fresh and salt water mix. People can catch it through an open cut or by eating raw or undercooked seafood. Once mostly seen along the Gulf Coast, cases are now spreading up the East Coast as ocean temperatures climb. The CDC warns the infection can be deadly, killing about 1 in 5 who get it. Here are some of the top headlines in the Port Lavaca wave this week. Calhoun County taxpayers are unlikely to see an increase in the county tax rate. And the Calhoun AgriLife Extension Office receives recognition during its biannual report. To read these stories and more, go to portlavacawave.com.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's 92 degrees, a little on the hot and steamy side out there. We did have a chance, actually we did have some showers around the area today. That kept our temperature down to 92, but we didn't get anything at the rain gauge. That's kind of the problem. Next couple of days, a lot more sun, a lot less rain, and then we'll talk about the cool front coming in a moment. Stay tuned. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Yes, what about that cold front? I've been asked that probably 100 times, and we're going to talk about it. I just don't want you to get overexcited. I mean, it is coming. It is going to be coming in, and we'll be talking about it right about now. Today, this cold front, which is a stationary front, is just north of Houston, and that is where a lot of the stormy weather has been erupting, because remember, it is a boundary line. In other words, it's a spot where the pressure is low, and so the storms will rise and develop right about there, and that one goes all the way up to Dallas. On the other side of that, north of it is fall. It is fall in many areas of the country. It's still on the warm, sticky side for us, and we'll be hoping that that drops. Our next front, which is a Sunday front, is really not organized on the map just yet. It'll come in on Sunday, and we'll show you how that's going to work out. Now, here's what happened this afternoon. We had most of the activity around noontime. Had a lot of clouds. It was looking kind of ominous there, but everything has decreased in intensity, and you will notice how this happens earlier. In other words, we peak heat earlier in the day now that we're losing a little bit of sunshine. You might notice the sun is in the lower horizon. So here we are today. You see we didn't get much in the city, but we did get a couple of clusters down to the southwest and also up the I-50. It seems like from Edna to Wharton, it always gets the rain. I don't know how they do that. Anyway, for tomorrow, as you can see, the severe weather outlook has just a garden variety chance that's less than marginal, okay? This is marginal right here. We're less than marginal. So maybe 1 or 2 little showers from here to Houston, but that's about it for our area. High pressure is sort of building in, and we're losing all that moisture that we've had for the past couple of days. We'll take a look at the Gulf of Mexico. As you can see right about here, a little bit of shower activity, part of that front that's out there, but the Gulf is quiet. We go to the Atlantic, The Atlantic is quiet. We've got Tropical Storm Fernand, and that is moving way out to sea. And all of a sudden, after having a very busy couple of weeks, everything's settled down in the Atlantic. And it's just interesting. You know, it's getting harder and harder to predict these things because they just don't follow the program. So I guess it's good that we might scoot through the season without having a problem. We'll certainly hope for that, but we got to be ready this time of the year. Here's the future tracker beginning tonight. You'll notice that it'll be less quiet. We'll get the cloud cover coming in early in the morning, part of the Gulf. There'll be 1 or 2 little afternoon showers tomorrow, even less. And then as we go from Thursday on into Friday, it'll be plain old sunny and hot. But what is this? Yes, there it is, folks, right there. On Friday, the frontal system will be right about here, north of I-10. And then on Saturday, it'll still be up there. It's not till Sunday that it comes through. That's when Sunday we start picking up a little bit of a north wind, and it will be somewhat cooler, somewhat. Tomorrow, still hot though, looking 95 in Port Lavaca. In Cuero, you're getting up 97, so very hot for the next 2 days. So let's see how much cooling we're going to get. Well, it'll be warm on Saturday, showers late in the day. Frontal system turns the wind to the north, but only drops us down to about 89, 90 degrees with a rain chance on Sunday. So let's keep our fingers crossed. It's not the last one. It could be the first of hopefully many to come. That's your 7-day forecast. Reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that, put Crossroads a Day on your phone. Shawna, don't pull out your sweater just yet.
Darn. Can I at least pull out the fall decorations for the house?
Yes, that would be good. Put out the yellow leaves and all that stuff.
All right, perfect. Well, coming up next, summer's end brings unexpected good news for your travel budget. The 3 major stock indexes all close in positive territory today. The Dow up 147 points, the S&P 500 climbed 15 points, and the Nasdaq up by 46 points. The price of oil is up 59 cents to $63.84 per barrel. President Trump today doubling the tariff on India from 25% to 50%. It's an effort to punish India for buying Russian oil. It comes as new polling shows a majority of Americans say they believe the economy is headed in the wrong direction. ABC's Perry Russum is in Washington.
President Trump slamming India, doubling the tariff on their goods to 50%. It's now one of the largest tariffs imposed by the Trump administration. Prices could go up on jewelry, clothes, shoes, and furniture. 2 major items are exempt: pharmaceuticals and electronics. Trump punishing India for buying Russian oil. White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett this morning.
Said we're trying to put extra pressure on Russia so that we can get a peace deal.
The president's frustration with Russia over the war in Ukraine boiling over.
Doesn't matter what they say. Everybody's posturing.
Trump's tariffs are interwoven with the U.S. economy, as experts say the added cost will get handed down to American consumers. A new Gallup poll finds only 37% of Americans approve of the economy, 59% disapprove, 4% with no opinion. For months, Trump has been trying to pressure the Federal Reserve, the independent agency controlling interest rates. A major legal battle is taking shape after Trump said he was firing Lisa Cook, a Fed board governor. Her lawyer says they will file a lawsuit calling Trump's move illegal. The case is likely headed to the Supreme Court. The Trump administration accusing Cook of mortgage fraud. She has not been charged with a crime. Trump asked if he's looking for a reason to fire an official he disagrees with.
Is your administration weaponizing government by digging into the mortgage records of officials you don't like?
No, they're public. I mean, you can find out those records. You can go check out the records yourself.
Back to that Gallup poll and what Americans think about the economy. More than 60% of Americans say the economy's direction is getting worse. Perry Russum, ABC News, Washington.
NVIDIA is about to give investors a fresh look at how Trump's trade policies are hitting its business. The chip maker is set to report earnings for the quarter ending in July. Back in May, NVIDIA warned export restrictions to China could cost it $8 billion in revenue. Even so, Wall Street expects strong results, about 50% growth in revenue and profit from last year. Still, that's a slowdown from the company's explosive growth, raising questions about whether the market may be due for a correction. Summer draws to a close with good news for travelers. Airfare and gas prices drop as the busy season ends. The national average for regular gas sits at $3.21 per gallon, down 14 cents from last year. Some regions could see prices fall below $3 after Labor Day when stations switch to cheaper winter fuel blends. Domestic airfare costs 6% less than last year, making now an ideal time to book any fall trips. AAA warns drivers to avoid Friday afternoon through evening and Monday afternoon for the smoothest holiday travel. Frontier Airlines is adding 20 new routes this winter. New flights will be going to and from several cities, including Detroit, Houston, Baltimore, and Charlotte, North Carolina. Frontier says it wants to become the country's largest budget airline. This comes as rival Spirit struggles since coming out of bankruptcy protection. Still to come, something adorable is happening at Metro Richmond Zoo, and it involves baby cheetahs.
A horrific Catholic school shooting. Multiple victims dead and wounded. A gunman opening fire on the first week of school. Plus, with millions set to travel this Labor Day weekend, the big change in the Northeast. World News Tonight with David Muir is the most watched newscast in America.
Get your dose of cute cats at the zoo in Richmond, Virginia. Take a look at these. The zoo announced the births of 6 new cheetah cubs and is introducing these 3-month-olds to the public. They were born back in May to parents Zuri and Ramses. The 3 males and 3 females spent their first months at the zoo's Cheetah Conservation Center. Nearly 170 cheetahs have been born at the Metro Richmond Zoo since 2013. The zoo says cheetahs are Africa's most endangered big cat. So those 6 are not quite so big yet, but it probably won't take them very long.
Not long at all, but they're a lively little bunch there.
They are. That's a lot to handle, but I'm sure the zoo visitors enjoy watching them play and run around.
Yeah, and then mom just looks away and going, whatever, you know.
I feel mom. I get it.
I get it, mom. Just look away. Well, folks, tomorrow we have less of a chance of getting any kind of rain around here as high pressure builds in. We're going to be hot for the next couple days, getting up to about 98 on Friday. The cool front, quote unquote, comes in on Sunday. It knocks the temperature down to 90 degrees with a north wind on Monday. And of course, because it's a north wind on Monday, I have to call it a cool front. And then because it dropped 5 to 10 degrees, then, well, it'll be something, but it won't be enough to, you know, light the fire or anything like that.
At least we know the real cooler weather is coming.
It's on its way.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here in 30 minutes for 25 News Now at 6.